Now, a motion picture so grand, so magnificent, and so vast, it spans 7,000 years.
No way! Yes way!
But it starts with Bill.
I'm Bill S. Preston!
Who was Joan of Arc?
And Ted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome, or should I say, hey, dudes, and welcome to You'll Probably Agree. Today, I got the duderacious Pat McDonald on, and I'm Mike.
Party on.
Yeah, party on, Pat.
Be excellent to each other.
Yeah, exactly. Be excellent to each other.
And that, I mean, that's
on,
a philosophy
dudes.
for now, Mike. You know, be excellent to each other is what we need right now. So Bill and Ted always had it right. And that's part of the intro. Go ahead.
No, exactly. You know, that's what I love about Bill and Ted is
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, you know, how could this kind of corny 80s movie live on till today? And the thing is it has this positivity that exuberates beyond the screen. And
I agree.
yeah. And it doesn't have like that sort of like fake positivity that you see in kids' films where it acts like it's happy, but really there's sort of like this mask of cynicism underneath it.
Right. There's no cynicism in it. That's what's so amazing. I really enjoyed seeing the first one. Second one, I'd never seen it. I thought I had, but I know I'd never seen it after I started watching it. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird because like I think I remembered a lot of the second one more than the first one because like
interesting.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, like not because like of how good it was or anything, but just because like when I was a kid, I was like, you know, the first one came out what, like in '89 or something like that.
Yes.
I was like maybe 5 years old then.
Right.
And then '92, like I was like maybe
Right.
7.
I'm sure you remember the cartoon as well, right?
Actually, no, I never saw the cartoon. I didn't even know there was a cartoon.
I didn't either until I looked at Alex Winter's IMDb page.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Alex Winter, I guess, like switched to a career in directing.
Yeah,
And
he's done some pretty good stuff. I was surprised.
Yeah, I thought like, oh, poor Alex Winter. You know,
Yeah.
he just disappeared and nobody heard from him again. And you know, no, I guess the case is that he switched to a career in directing a ton of documentaries, did like a lot of political
He's
stuff.
doing documentaries.
Yeah, like
Right.
a lot of documentaries about sort of the corruption of the internet and how people are being spied on and stuff like that.
Well, he did one based on the Panama Papers, which was just about how the rich rip off everybody else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, party on.
Yeah, it's funny. It's
Speaking
funny.
of which, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, speaking of which, the thing I want to bring up at the top of this is that I think Wayne's World ripped off a lot of stuff from Bill and Ted. I have to say, you know, the pairing, the kind of cluelessness, the party on attitude, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was wondering what came first, whether it was
No, definitely
Wayne's
Bill
World
and Ted
sketch.
came first.
Yeah.
Because I met Mike Myers in the 80s and he wasn't famous yet. So
Okay.
So yeah, they definitely ripped off a lot of that from Bill and Ted. I mean, they gave it their own spin and everything, but the roots of it are Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Yes.
I just wanted to say that at the onset, because that I love Wayne and Garth and everything like that in Wayne's World, but
take that, Wayne's World. I haven't seen Wayne's World 3 yet. Where's that
I
one?
haven't either. I know I've seen 1 and 2, but not 3.
No, there is no 3. That's
Well, now that Bill and Ted have come back, I'm sure Wayne and Garth will follow, because
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I will
don't
say
think Mike Myers really necessarily wants to work anymore. He made so much money from Shrek.
Yeah, is that what it is? Or I heard
Yeah.
rumors that he was difficult to work with in Hollywood,
Well,
but
you just watch an interview and you can see he's difficult to work with.
was he difficult for your interview?
Oh no, it wasn't an interview. He was just on an improv show with a friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's why I said there's no way that Wayne's World came first, because Bill and Ted was already nearly out. I think I met Myers in '89. So yeah.
Wow. Wow, amazing. It's amazing how time flies these days.
And there was
Uh,
a very tall redheaded guy with him, Conan O'Brien.
oh my God. Yeah, he did live in Lakeview for a
Yeah.
bit. He was like across the street with Jeff Garland,
Do
across
you
the
know?
street from Wrigley Field.
Do you know Brian McCann?
Yeah.
I used to work with Brian McCann at Sears. He was a copywriter. And
Ah,
McCann eventually worked for O'Brien, but McCann was part of this improv group that included O'Brien, Mike Myers, and Chris Farley. And they were
yeah.
touring.
Oh
So
my
it was
God.
all part of like either an IO or a Second City thing.
Getting back to Bill and Ted, here's what I love about
Yes.
Bill and Ted. Is like it's one of those movies that's so self-conscious that you can't help but love it. It's kind of like a time capsule of its own
Somewhat.
time. Yeah, because like when you think about movies back in like 89 or 90, like if this movie came out today, I think audiences
Hmm.
would rip it apart because of how
Maybe.
convenient the plot is and how many plot holes that there are. You know, like when they have their concert, how did they possibly prepare everything in the last second with all
Oh, I
these
don't
lighting
think anybody's
cues and
thinking.
musical
It's like a
cues?
cartoon, man. It's
Yeah.
things happen because they happen. And the only thing that dates Bill and Ted is the phone booth. Everything else, to me, is timeless.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's the beauty of the way they set up everything. I mean, and the one thing I'll say about Bill and Ted, the characters, yeah, they're clueless, but they're also very nice guys.
Yeah.
They're not teenage rebels. They're just kind of clueless dudes who want to be in a band who want to but don't want to work at being in a band, which is so funny.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
that's the great
believe me, I know about not working but wanting to be into a band. So it's taken me 10 years to get to a point where I realized that. But I, you know, I wasn't in a band when I first saw the movie, and now I'm in a band and I see the movie and I totally understand their attitude. So it really
yeah.
makes me smile.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I think in today's internet culture, if they saw Bill and Ted, there'd just be forums like, "How did this happen? And how did that
Yeah,
happen?
well,
Everything
that's
happened so conveniently." Eh. And the nice thing is, back then you didn't have the internet.
that's true.
People would just pick apart a movie where you
But
could just sit back, relax, and enjoy it. And there are some things that are a little outdated in Bill and Ted. You know, like they always throw
oh
around the
yeah,
term "fag" in it, and it's like,
yeah,
oh.
the fag word is in there a lot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. I saw that in the '70s movie the other day, and but then again, that was I mean, when I was a kid, I could call my brothers faggots and never get any backlash on it. It wasn't. Again, it's one of those words that um, you know the meaning has changed over the years, and now it's become an epithet, and I'm glad it's become an epithet. So
Yeah.
you know,
I'm glad it's changed, but yeah, I mean, certainly it like during my childhood, we'd
oh
be
yeah,
throwing around
yeah.
that
I
word left
mean,
and right.
yeah,
Like, you
you
know, if
couldn't.
something was dorky, they call it faggy or something like that.
Right. I mean, after about, I don't know, it was post millennium when it became something that, you couldn't necessarily say in public without context. So,
Yes.
I mean, you could still call something, uh, you know, faggy, but it has to be in context. It has to
It
be in
has to be in really good context.
Yes. Well,
Yes, yes.
believe me, on my 1960s playgrounds, I'm sure I heard the N word more than a few times, and because I went to an all-white Catholic school, so I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not, I can't think of anything specific, but why should I?
Yeah.
So
But no, outside of that, Bill and Ted is something that really kind of transcends time. It's
it
something that
does.
we can enjoy whenever we see it because there's just such a happiness behind it. And
Yes, very
yeah,
much so.
yeah, like you know, it's just fun to see. It doesn't have, you know, it's perfect to see during 2020, which is like the
Yeah.
shittiest year I can remember within my lifetime.
Well,
The sh-
I don't know if they're going to hit the 100 million with the new one, but the
yeah.
timing's good. the timing's good for a new Bill and Ted. I'm ready.
You know, that's the most incredible thing with Bill and Ted. I didn't include it in my list of questions, but now I guess that we're on the topic, we could just. I'm wondering if Bill
Yeah.
and Ted 3 will act just like how they saved the universe. If Bill and Ted 3 will save the cinema, because it's
Oh,
just
interesting.
yeah. I'm wondering because it's
That
kind
and
of
Wonder
coming
Woman.
out. Yeah, that and Wonder Woman, because like I know they're trying really hard to push Tenet out to
Yeah,
to
they're
come out
thinking.
at
I don't think that's the representational movie that you would want to put out there to save the cinema, but have at it. Uh,
yeah
I mean, what was his other kind of strange science fiction movie? I can't think of the name of it.
Inception.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like putting Inception out there as a savior, and no, it's not a savior. It's an experimental film. I think
yeah.
Tenet's the same way. Chris Nolan, yeah, he can drive some business, but not too much. And as you remember, Inception got mixed word of mouth. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into my whole thing about Inception, but yeah, it kind of feels
yeah,
like Inception Part 2,
it does.
essentially.
It does
Yeah,
to me too. And believe me, that's not a endorsement.
yeah, and I just think like Bill and Ted is sort of like a movie that would come out right as the theaters are beginning to reopen. I'm not sure if
Yes.
it's going to
It's
be.
looking like late July, correct? Maybe fourth week July, early August.
I think it's coming out like August 23rd or something like that.
Oh, okay, okay.
Actually, yeah, while I'm talking, I could pull it up,
Well,
but
yeah, it does. I mean, it would be when the theaters are open again.
yeah,
That
and
I would assume by August 23rd. Besides the states where the cases are spiking, that we will have 50% capacity
yes,
theaters at that time.
it's listed for August 14th.
Very good.
Yeah,
Okay,
um,
that makes sense.
yeah. So, and the thing is, I'm not sure if it's going to go straight to digital or if they're going to hold off and let
They
it go in
might do a
theaters.
combo, man. They might do a
Yeah.
combo. Whatever open is open, and then maybe wait a week and then make it available for
Yeah.
VOD.
Now,
I
I
don't
think
know their strategy. You
yeah,
know,
I think it would be perfect for theaters because that would be a celebratory movie to go to
sure,
the theater with, because that's a
absolutely.
movie that would make everyone just be happy to see each other, give everyone a good laugh,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, you don't want to see like a crazy weird thriller, as like the movie to bring everyone back to cinemas.
Well,
So
I mean, again, Inception too.
yeah,
We'll
exactly,
see how
yeah.
we'll see how it goes. I'm not. Let's not poo-poo it yet, but
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not. I'm not.
I
I'm not.
I think I love it because I just love all Nolan movies. But
Yeah,
although Inception was extremely like,
I'd
just so
like to
much of
see
the
that again.
dialogue
I think I
was
might pull that out
exposition.
again. I do
Yeah,
have a copy of Inception, and I should watch it again.
I know.
I did.
I always
First
nickname
time I
Inception.
saw it, I was just like, eh.
Yeah,
So anyway, moving on. The one thing I loved about the first movie in seeing it again was that it was a lot slyer than I thought it was. In like the anticipation was it was going to be the cartoon adventures of Bill and Ted, and there wasn't going to be much substance to it. But I have to say, the commentary on the historic figures was pretty fun. I enjoyed that, especially Freud. Remember
oh
the
yeah,
session at the
oh
end of the
yeah,
movie where Ted's on the couch and Freud's analyzing him, and then he
yes.
goes, "Okay, well, Bill, you're next," and Bill goes, "No, I just have a slight edible complex,"
Yeah.
which was referring to history. And I said, "That's a good joke, man. That's an excellent." All the Freud jokes are hilarious in
Yeah, when
that.
he's hitting on the girls in the mall,
Oh
or just like
yeah.
trying to
Oh my
analyze
God.
them.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they're just giggling at these old men. I mean, Socrates. I mean, all that stuff was just really well done. And I think the first Bill and Ted was very organic, time travel. And the one thing I'll say about the Bogus Journey is that they didn't go back to the well. A lot of these sequels go back to the well, not Bill and Ted. They went to the afterlife in the second one. And to mixed results,
Yep.
but oh my God, some of the visuals in it were incredible. They
Yeah.
spent their money on production design, not on script.
Yes, it's amazing when you think about Bogus Journey because it kind of followed along the path that a lot of sequels did post Empire Strikes Back, where it's like, oh, we're gonna make the dark one now, you know?
Right.
Yeah, and this one is like Bill and Ted get thrown off a cliff and
I,
die.
I don't think it's necessarily dark, but it's definitely a darker tone. Let me put it that way. There is right because they're killed.
Yeah. It's like Return to Oz. You know, it's like, okay, here's the happy one. Now here's this crazy fucked up
Exactly.
drug trip,
Yeah,
that you're gonna
yeah.
see.
Return to Oz is
Yeah.
very bizarre.
And
That's so funny.
I'm not sure if Beetlejuice came out before this movie or if that movie came out after it, but it's like
I'd have to
so
look
many
it
of
up.
its visuals looked like just like Beetlejuice. Like when Alex Winter, or I'm sorry, Bill's going to see his grandmother and he's going to give her a
You're
kiss.
talking about Bogus Journey?
Yeah, with Bogus Journey.
You're talking about Bogus Journey? Yeah,
Yeah.
Beetlejuice came out, I think, before Bogus Journey. So yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
because
they spent their money on production design. I
which
mean,
still holds up. Yeah.
right, it does. It does. I said to Robin as we were watching, I said, this looks like a European film.
It does.
I mean, the concept of hell being multiple doors that you go through, come on, that was really, really highly. Of course, they're doing a satire to Seven Seal, and
Mhm.
film cinema teases know that, but uh, it really took it to another level. I thought. But
Absolutely.
that doesn't make it a successful film.
It's funny. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought structurally it was a little better than the first one because the first one seems kind of like, I'm not saying it's a better movie. I like the
Okay.
first movie better.
Okay.
But structurally, I thought it worked better because the first one just kind of seems like it's slapped together, like it's abruptly going from one scene to the other. And they're like, we're here now.
Okay.
Now we're here. Now we're here. Like we're
Yeah.
randomly cutting to Napoleon and his love for
Right.
ice cream. And now we're
Oh,
going
I
back to
love
Bill
the
and Ted.
Napoleon stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you though, it's funny you mentioned Napoleon. The sequence at the water park, they could have cut at least
Oh yeah.
10 minutes. I don't know how long that thing was, but man,
It's
I'm
long.
like, get along. Why are you showing so much Napoleon in the water park?
Yeah. It's like, okay, we get the
They
Waterloo
only
reference.
it was
but
only
yeah.
a 90. It was probably an 89-minute movie, and they thought, well, if we cut that, we don't have enough to put in the theaters.
I think that was kind of what
So let's
happened with Bill and
just
Ted.
roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
It's
just
like,
roll the Napoleon water park sequence.
yeah, it felt like they were just barely trying to make feature length with it because it's like hour
Yeah.
27, where the
Yeah,
second
yeah,
one's
it's
hour
short.
33. Yeah.
But the second one, I don't know. It certainly they were obsessed with the fact that they cleverly came up with, we're going to do the afterlife rather than time travel. So once they establish that becomes their motion picture, death being a part of the characters. But it went off in such random ways. The two creatures that are the greatest scientists in the world.
Yeah.
What are they called?
The technicians or something like that. Yeah.
The Statians or whatever they're called.
Station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just so bizarre. That's like you're smoking a lot of dope and writing the script. And now we have two creatures come in, man, and they're just great. And they are the smartest scientists in the world, and they're the ones that are going to build the Bill and Ted robots, which I thought were funny. And they're going to appear on stage with them. But there was a real deus machina in the end where they go, oh, we'll go in the time machine and take 16 months off and bring in little Bill and Ted, et cetera, et cetera. I wonder if the princesses will reprise their roles in the new one, except they'll be too old for Bill and Ted, as you said, now that Ted looks like an Asian woman.
Oh, that was meant to be private.
Oh no! Hey, that's how Burt Reynolds looked when he first got his work. It'll all settle. It'll look better toward the end. But I always said that Burt Reynolds looked like an Asian woman when I think we're dudes. there's a rule about men plastic surgery. You only do it once. So you have to decide what you're going to do. Are you going to work on your chin? Or are you going to work on your eyes? You only got the two choices. If you work on both, you look like an Asian woman. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
No offense to Asian women, because they're beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They
I know,
are.
But
Yeah.
but if you're doing that as a dude, you have to look out that you might look like one. So there you go.
Well, Keanu Reeves, I believe, is part Asian. No, he actually is.
Oh, he is? Okay,
yeah.
well then there he is. It all came out when he got the play.
Yeah.
But you were right. That's why he wears the beard, because his face is so bizarre.
Yeah. I mean,
it's kind of, you can't look at it.
I don't know if his face is bizarre. It's just that I don't think we're used to seeing him look like that. You know, we're used to the John Wick now sort of look. And
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, because he didn't wear a beard though in what was that independent film he did a few years ago at the hotel? Oh, maybe he did wear a beard. I can't remember. Anyway,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one that. Who else was in it?
His IMDb page.
Yeah.
No, I don't have his IMDb page up. I have Alex Winters up. So.
Okay. But no, it's funny. Like, yeah. I mean, I don't think he got plastic surgery. I just think that he just, that's just naturally how he looks, and he still looks young.
I think he definitely has been under the knife. His skin is so smooth.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's a weird thing to speculate about anyway. But,
I guess. I give him credit, though, because I have
another
a phobia.
rule. Men shouldn't speculate on other men's plastic surgeries.
Yeah.
So.
I have a phobia of doctors, so I give them all the credit in the world. I could never go under a knife. Like, I'm getting an echocardiogram in, like, 2 weeks. And I'm like,
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
I know.
It's just general anxiety. We all have it.
Yeah. So I give them credit for actually getting surgery. So yeah, but yeah, it's a little odd when you watch the trailer for Bill and Ted 3 now, because you could tell like Keanu Reeves has really gone beyond that sort of role of Ted Theodore Logan.
But he doesn't mind revisiting it. I mean, this will do nothing but help him, because everybody sees him as that very tight-ended John Wick character now, and here he gets a chance to be Ted again. I jump at that chance, and I'm glad he did jump at it.
And he seems like an amazing. I mean, now that we're going through the Keanu-sance, it's really great because, well, the thing is, Keanu Reeves is going back to positive energy. He's just like rumored to be this incredibly great, nice guy, and one thing that we could learn from such a contentious year is the power of love and respect.
Right.
And that's something that I think Keanu Reeves has
displayed. Bill and Ted.
Yeah, Bill and Ted and Keanu Reeves, and maybe even Alex Winter by an extent through his documentaries.
Sure.
They really have proven that they're beyond sort of the. It's funny, like they play these dumb guys on screen, and as we've learned, these guys are really intelligent individuals, that stretch beyond their characters. I don't know if I could say the same about Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, but
again, the one thing I will say about Bill and Bogus Journey is that William Sadler has had one of the great underground careers of any character actor working. I swear to God, when I found out he played Death, I was like, no way. The guy who was in Die Hard 2 as that badass general, and the guy who, what else did he? I mean, he did so many incredible movies early in his career, boom, 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 boom. And
many Frank Darabont films.
Yes, exactly. I mean, so much stuff that he's done that was amazing in his career. And then now he's coming back, I assume, as Death.
Yeah, he's in the trailer.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
he was
funny.
so funny in Bogus. He killed me.
He stole the
I
show
mean,
with the comedy.
yeah, he really did. And when the final um, concert came up, I was like, yeah, Death. He's the best thing in this. I mean,
He
to have Bill come back in the ZZ Top beard and Keanu come back with the rock look. Again, Due Machina,
yeah.
Oh, now they are rock stars. And I have to admit, the rock song that they came up with to unite the world was not too bad.
It was pretty good.
As a rocker myself.
It better be good. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
supposed to
know.
save the
I
world.
know. That's what I'm saying. And the montage afterward of all the magazine covers was classic. I loved it. So
yeah. I'm sorry.
Bogus Journey had its moments, but overall as a film, I love the first one, and nobody's gonna. You can't reheat a souffle, as Paul McCartney once said.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess maybe you could only strike lightning once. But no, I mean the first one, I wonder with the first one how many people got historical characters or figures wrong after that movie. I'm thinking of the beginning. I was thinking of the beginning of the film when
you sort of faded out on that last thing. I don't know if you recorded that. So.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I'd say that statement again because on my end, your voice cut out.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no problem. So what I was thinking is I wonder how many students got historical figures wrong after Bill and Ted came out. When they think about Napoleon Bonaparte, are they thinking, oh, he's that guy who really liked ice cream?
Yeah.
Or they think of
he loved water parks.
Yes, he loved water parks. That was
the park was called Waterloo. Another funny.
Yeah. Yes.
But Americans are fairly ignorant of history, else we wouldn't have this president we have currently. But those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, as the old saying goes. And maybe some adults do. Their reference to Napoleon is only through Bill and Ted.
It's funny. I just think like a lot of adults probably are like Bill and Ted at the very beginning of the movie. They're like, "Who's Joan of Arc?"
Right.
No, his wife.
Hey, played by Jane Wheatland of the Go-Go's, one of my early crushes. The Go-Go's. So she was great. She was a great Joan of Arc. And again, the Joan of Arc taking over the aerobics class was freaking hilarious. I was that is so funny. That's her concept of being a leader, is to lead an aerobics class.
Yes, and Beethoven learning the synthesized piano.
Oh my God, hilarious! Again, yes, good stuff. Good stuff.
There wasn't a lot of stuff with Abraham Lincoln until the very end.
Right?
On, dudes. Yeah.
And he was. The Lincoln was kind of odd too, because he had a receding hairline. You need a Lincoln with a full head of hair.
Yeah.
Well, he wears the hat a lot, but he also had a good hairline.
Yeah.
So.
And then there was dang. With maybe I'm paraphrasing honest trailers here, but they're honest trailer of Genghis Khan. It's like, I wonder if people were gonna know that he was a mass murderer who killed more people than Hitler.
Yeah. Again, he was very funny in his moment. Billy the Kid was funny in his moment.
Mm-hmm.
Billy the Kid kind of saved him from the medieval times.
Yes.
It was great.
And Socrates is just a sweet old man. Yeah.
I was at my parents' house last week, and they have like a mega system that you just, they have the Xfinity where you just talk in, and there the movie is. So I watch it really late night, but it was compelling enough for me to stick with it the whole way and enjoy it. So I was glad I saw it again. I'm glad that you mentioned this to do, because otherwise, I don't think I would have sat down to the two before seeing the third. Now I'm caught up, and I can see the third with references. So there should be a lot of references.
It's.
I'm hoping that Missy pops up again in 3. She has to.
Yes.
And she has to be a total. She has to be a gilf, I guess, a grandmother. Because that was her role. They have to have Missy show up again in some good comic way. I don't know how. I have suggestions, but let's leave it to the writers. So
Yes. The funny thing is, I'm wondering
because
with.
she was married to Bill's mother in the first movie, and in Bogus, she's
Mhm.
married to Ted's mother. Who is she going to be married to in Face the Music? We'll see.
It'll probably be some famous guy, honestly.
Well, my theory is it's either Bill or Ted, but who knows?
Missy doesn't seem to be listed in the credits here for the third one, but I bet. Oh no, here she is.
Spoiler alert.
Amy Stock. Yeah.
She's getting the same actress is going to play her in the third, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you
Yeah.
go.
But
How
yeah.
about Bill and Ted's fathers? Are they both dead yet?
Let's see if they are. I don't see them yet in here, so we don't know. I mean,
Okay.
God, Ted's father,
Ted's father.
the character deserves to be dead.
He's a class.
Oh wait, he's there.
He had to handle in Bogus Journey being taken over by his son, and then that character actor who I recognize, Bill entered his body. So they both had to do that kind of improvisational imitating Bill and Ted, which I thought they did. Again, very funny sequence where they were at a roll call at the police station. So
Yeah. Actually, I take that back. He is in the credits. Hal Landon Jr. is Captain Logan.
All right. Excellent.
Captain
Excellent.
Logan. Yeah.
Excellent.
And
I look forward to all of it.
yes. That's God.
Do you have Bogus Journey? Wait, I have Bogus Journey up here. I want to see the character actor who played the sergeant in it. Because
yes.
he does Hal Landon Jr., of course. Hal Landon Sr. was Thomas Edison. So the Hal Landon family was very big. Okay, so we're looking for the sergeant.
Yeah.
In Bogus Journey here. I'll keep talking.
While we're going off of that, I the reason I picked Bill and Ted honestly was when I saw that trailer, I kind of had this warm fuzzy feeling where I'm like, wouldn't it be great if we go back to the theaters and we truly are excellent to each other, and it brings back sort of this communal feeling. And Bill and Ted
are a romantic person, sir.
I am a very sentimental individual. Yes, you can never. I mean, I am the Steven Spielberg of sentimentality when it comes to film criticism. That's why I love Spielberg. That's why actually Jurassic Park was #1 in the box office because of the drive-ins, I suppose, this week. So, and also Jaws and E.T. Yeah.
I think it was Michael Phillips who made the point of why you just keep bringing back the same movies if you're going to do drive-ins.
Yeah.
Come on, get a little creative here.
Yep.
Agree, but you got to put butts in the car seats. So
yeah. Yeah, I actually agree with Michael Phillips on that, but that's a different conversation for a different time.
Well, there you go.
But yes, I'm good. I'm in charge now. I'm in charge. All right. So, anyways, that was a Captain Phillips reference. All right, I'm the captain now. But
you're all over the place, buddy. Reel it in.
Yeah.
I don't see the guy who played the sergeant, unfortunately.
Well, that's okay. But. I was just thinking of this movie because we kind of need that warm sentimentality now. We need something that brings us hope.
I think the media has done their part as far as trying to keep people grounded. The concerts, the thing like the Harry Connick thing on Sunday, it is what it is. Your individual freak outedness to this whole situation is something that you can't help as an individual. You react to it how you react to it, and whatever the media is shoveling it to you is not going to either not help or help. Yeah. I have to say, just as an aside note, ABC every day has a half-hour program where they just go over the COVID stories. So they've been able to get in depth into it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I watch this in the background sometime, and I'm like, I'm pretty impressed with this. This is a major network doing a in-depth approach to the COVID crisis. I don't think anybody else is doing that. So
yeah, I like how they do it in 30 minutes.
yeah,
That's I did a whole episode about sort of sensationalized media and how
well, I mean, it's
it's
always going to be
it's terror
sensational.
porn in a way.
You got to call
know?
it for-profit media, because anything for-profit will be sensationalized. When a capitalist essentially is an evil person, because they want greed. So if you have an evil person in charge of making money, you're also going to have an evil person in charge of the media. So that's pretty much what you got to do.
And I would say this, to revert it back to Bill and Ted. If Bill and Ted in our universe was here and they saw the media and the pandemic and all that, how would they bring everyone together? Would they have an in-home concert?
Bill and Ted would not pay attention to anything except, what's in front of their face, or the rock band Wild Stallions.
I think maybe they would go through the time machine and find a cure in the future to coronavirus.
Did you get the impression that George Carlin did not want to do the second picture? That they gave him a very large check to reprise Rufus for about 5 minutes in the entire movie?
No, but then again, I could see that point. Like, he didn't seem like he was in the movie, and he's like, ugh,
well,
okay.
I think as they were developing the picture, they said, well, you're going to be in it again, aren't you? And he goes, I don't want to do it. Aren't you? He goes, give me a large check and write a couple of cameo scenes, and I'll be fine.
Yes.
So that's,
I'll be hidden underneath
they
Pam Greer's
focused on
skin.
Bill and Ted and Hell in Heaven, which was fine.
Yeah.
The hell sequence was amazing.
Yeah.
The heaven sequence less so, but again, the touches of stealing the costumes of the people who are going to go in, the old classic cartoon thing where you bring people off camera and you hear the ooh, up of when you change, and then the costumes coming in. Always a good comic effect. You can never go wrong with that comic effect. So.
Oh yeah, it's always great. It's the humor works so well in both movies. We talked about the humor in the first one. I guess we could get a little bit into the second one. It's funny. So again, it kind of is mixed results, because there is a little bit of cynicism in the second one.
Well, also, the premise to me didn't work for a sustained kind of humor, especially, you get the feeling that they were making up things as they went along. And the first one, you said you thought the second was more cohesive. The first one was more organic than the second one. Obviously, you had something you had to make up for the second one, whereas going to the afterlife, a great idea, they didn't really know how to wrap it up, in my opinion.
Yeah, because the first one, when it came to the climax, the conclusion, everything led up to that big scene.
It led up to the history thing, exactly, which they delivered beautifully.
Yeah.
All the way to the last line. Hey, that get better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a classic last line. It's like nobody's perfect,
Yeah.
Does he say, fortunately, they get better, or, hey, they get better? I can't remember the exact line, but it was beautiful. And, of course, Carlin gets to deliver it, so it's like, right on.
I think he just says they get better.
The second one is, we're not going to focus on Rufus at all. We're going to focus on Bill and Ted. But
now that you mention it, I think, Carlin might have not have wanted to do it as much, or maybe he was busy. I mean, it's funny because Rufus is kind of like this kind of positive character in George Carlin's comedy. He was really sort of a chameleon, where he went from sort of like, funny everyday experimental humor, like that Jerry Seinfeld, why do people do this? But of course it was better than what I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Seinfeld sort of stuff.
I think I don't think it was an image thing as much as a, I don't want to be in the Bill and Ted. He looked more like, in the first one, he was looking like a character. In the second one, he was George Carlin doing his 5 days on the set to take care of the two
I
two
feel like,
scenes he was in.
well, when it comes to the persona, I feel like George Carlin was like, well, now I'm sort of like this, guy who examines all the flaws in society on stage, and I'm kind of beyond this. And we're like, okay, well, we'll give you this much money, and he's like, ah,
Yes, well,
fine.
I said it was a big check. You could tell it was a big check.
Exactly, yeah.
The whole, I mean, again, I'm going back to production design. The second movie, I would say a good 40 to 50% of it was production design. We got a bigger budget, so how can we make it look cool? And the first sequence with the students, the gates of hell and everything having to do with hell. Heaven was a great set. Wild Stallion concert was a great set. Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
So.
and there's so many memorable scenes in it. Actually, I think Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was my introduction to the Seventh Seal, and the
of course,
the
I would say it was 100% the introduction to most people to the Seventh Seal.
yes,
Or somebody who was ever doing reviews back then got to sit in there and go, "Oh, the Seventh Seal! How clever!"
yes, that's when all the critics are like, let me show
Well, the
my
whole
film
thing-
knowledge, and they
The
twirl
whole
their
thing, they
mustaches.
play chess in the Seventh Seal, and then they play again. The board game thing didn't work for me because they
Oh
should.
no, I love that part.
Well,
Yeah.
they should have stopped just at the battleship, just bringing up all these bad board games. I did like I have to say, I like the Clue
Yeah.
because, everybody's so assured of themselves when they come up with the end of Clue and they didn't get it.
I have to
and
say,
they had Twister and the whole thing fell
I have
apart.
to say, I loved the entire board game sequence. Like, it could
Okay.
have gone on for too long, but I just loved how they kept doing each game, and each game just progressively gets funnier and funnier and crazier and crazier.
Yeah.
And William Sadler, you could just tell he's just having a blast with
Yeah,
that
he
role.
he did a like you say, he stole the picture a number of times.
Oh yeah, because he's just sort of like, he was kind of like this character we needed, who was like this dorky middleman, right?
Right,
And we're always
right.
afraid of death and stuff like that.
Right.
And here we're kind of like picking on death, but not
Right.
like in a mean way. More like, oh, he doesn't know any better. He's just trying to fit in.
Well,
kinda
he's
way.
a perfect foil for a Bill and Ted to parlay jokes off of. So
Yeah.
they were really into the Terminator type thing because they kept doing the thing where they'd pull the skin off
Yes.
and show the innards. So that was a nice nod to the Terminator legend at that time.
Well,
Had two come out by the time they did it? I'm sure it had.
as a matter of fact,
At least one had to come out, and of course they had a lot of exposing skin and showing the metal men on it. We're true metal men. I
Yes.
love it.
Uh,
We're true metalheads now.
as a matter of fact, I'm glad you brought that up, because
Again, I thought
believe-
Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves played both evil and good Bill and Ted very well.
I'm glad you brought up that they Terminator, because from what I researched,
Yes.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was number 2 in the box office, behind Terminator 2.
There you go.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if
That was
Terminator
quite
2,
a summer.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
I remember seeing Terminator 2, and I don't know how old I was. I won't say, but I was advanced enough in cinema studies by the point I saw 2 to kind of be somewhat disappointed by it. Only because, and now I appreciate it more, obviously, but only because the first one, again, is much more organic and much more like a sci-fi picture. This was like, well, we have Arnold is now a major star, so let's make him the major star of 2 and forget the whole consequence of Terminator 1. And then to go into the whole rest of the Terminator series, my God, that last one was an abomination. But
I didn't even see it.
At least they brought Sarah Connor back.
I heard what happened when the last few seconds of the new one, and I said, yeah, I'm not seeing that. like out of principle.
I
Yeah.
would, as a curiosity, I think you should see it, but
I know the rest of the
no
plot.
other
I
way.
watched something that went over the whole plot. I just said no.
Yeah,
Like,
see, that's the problem with the internet, is that you don't have to see any movie as long as you can go and do your spoiler patrol.
you know,
So
there's a whole thing about a
you
video
were you
game.
were you were talking nostalgically about not having an internet, so we don't get any
Mhm.
spoilers for Bill and
Mhm.
Ted. Well, there you just gave a perfect example about why
Mhm.
spoilers are destroying our enjoyment of the cinema right now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to be writing an article about how spoilers and internet culture have kind of destroyed a
I look
video
forward to
game
it.
that,
I will.
yeah.
Once you announce the date of that article, I will mark it on my calendar.
Well, it's about a video game, but yes.
I like that you're going into video, because you
Yeah.
do have good perception, and that's something we need in that world. You know, we don't need those video boys. We
Yeah,
need
yeah.
people who know cinema and video at the same time. So I was glad
Yeah.
to see
Uh,
that you were doing that.
oh, yeah. I would say if you're into art, watch someone play The Last of Us.
Okay.
It's phenomenal.
Oh,
It's the
yeah.
best.
So yeah.
I'm sorry, you cut off.
Oh, I said I saw that going around. I saw that. You know Rob Colger, don't you?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think so.
Rob is
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I know
yeah,
Rob. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
We
he
talk
would
all
be
the
a
time
good
about
one.
video games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
He's I would call him, besides you, in our core,
yeah.
the expert. And congratulations, by the way, on making the independent
Oh, thank
through
you,
there.
thank you.
There you go.
Yes, you really like me.
Oh,
Yeah.
please.
But but yeah, Bogus Journey. I will say, it was very different. It had mixed results. I didn't love it, but I actually did quite like it. It was
I
as good
liked
as
it more
first.
than I thought I would. As I
Yeah.
said, that's a movie of moments rather than an overall thing. But
Yes.
as I was, doing my research for it, both movies have kind of upticked in the cult genre.
Mhm.
Uh, I guess two was kind of confusing to people when it came out, but now people love it as part of the Bill and Ted, overall Bill and Ted. Now they're completing the trilogy. We'll
Yeah.
have the Bill and Ted trilogy forever. And
Yes. As a music,
yeah, I'm very curious now to see how the new movie will play out. So I
yeah,
think on that note, we can.
yeah. As a music fan, what do you, because that's why I was like, Pat would be great at this because you are far more into music and bands and that sort of thing than
Well,
me. So
well, no,
as a
I mean,
music fan,
rock and roll is virtually dead, except as a side. Uh, Basically, dinosaur acts killed rock and roll as a movement and is something new. But so it's refreshing to see something like the first one, the second one, because rock and roll is definitely the achievement in both pictures. So
yeah.
Wild Stallion is the achievement in both pictures. You just wouldn't see that today. In fact, the reference to Faith No More in the second movie is just like, is anybody picking that up? I mean, I don't really even know Faith No More, but I know they were a popular band in the early '90s. So
Which part was that? The
that
reference
was
to
in Bogus Journey.
Yeah.
One of the guys that come out of the phone booth in the beginning is in the band Faith No More, and then he keeps coming up sort of as a side note in the rest of the movie. So there you
Yeah.
go. There's
Well,
your rock
there
and roll reference.
there was another rock and roll reference when they're at the gates of heaven and they said, "What is the meaning of life?" And then they say like something about a rose or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Well,
But those
I think they were quoting their proposal to the princesses.
actually it was lyrics from a Poison song.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, Bill and Ted 2, again, it just kind of abruptly ended in a way. They're like, "Oh, we need a concert scene. Just
Yeah.
throw stuff
Again,
in there." Yeah.
as I said, Due Machina.
Yeah.
God favors the machine. So there it is.
Well, to be fair, Deus Machina pretty much controlled the entire plot of both movies. You
Well,
know.
again, I'm going to say the distinction between 1 and 2 is 1 was very organic and led to the history presentation,
Yeah.
whereas 2, we didn't know exactly where it was going, but the last half hour seemed a bit manufactured. I'm glad I got to the concert and everything. I didn't need to see the concert, but that was the whole, you know, reason that 2 existed, I guess. And that's fine. I mean, when they were writing the screenplay for 2, they're saying, we're going to end at the concert. How do we get to the concert? Well, let's have them go through the afterlife. Okay. And there's your film. Not as organic as 1.
Well, some of it did feel a little Deus Machina, where they're literally saying, I'm going to predict if sandbag falls on the bad guy. And then the bad guy's like, well, I'm going to predict a key. And they're like, well, we predicted you predicting the key.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny. I mean, that was about, they were doing the paradox of time travel before Back to the Future. Well, no, that was the same era, but they were kind of making fun of the paradox of time travel in that whole sequence. That was a good one too. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Well, the director of the first one didn't want to do the second one because he felt like the second one was a parody of the first one, which the first one was a parody of, you know, time travel and rock and roll and stuff like that.
Time travel again. Hey, Back to the Future kept the time travel the whole way. Yeah. Whereas Bill and Ted, even though it was a time travel movie, they decided not to do time travel for the second one. So good for them.
Yeah. I wonder if Back to the Future was planned to be a trilogy. Oh yeah, it was. Never mind.
Oh yeah, because they filmed 2 and 3 at the same time.
Yeah. And then Crispin Glover kind of threw a wrench into the whole.
Well, I mean, he justifiably, he had a beef. He had a legit beef and took on the system and won. And, you know, I read a story about Spielberg. He was the one that was really, he was the one that was determined to use Crispin Glover, even though he didn't hire him because he was so mad that he wouldn't do the second picture.
Oh, so it's like a petty thing.
An a-hole too. He is an a-hole, but he
I don't know about that.
No, he is. I've heard more great stories about him, but that was an instance where his power. Have you read? Was it Raging Bulls and that book about 90s cinema?
But please reference it to me. I would love to read it.
Anyway, I'll send you a reference. But there's a Spielberg story about him comparing private jets. He said, you don't have a real private jet until you can walk out where you don't have to bend down. Well, I thought he was short anyway, so.
Well, it wouldn't be hard for me. I'm pretty short, so yeah.
My Spielberg story was from the guy who did the voice of Pinky in Pinky and the Brain, Rob Paulson.
Yeah.
He told me that when Pinky and the Brain came out as a separate show, they had a big party, and Spielberg, well, he also did the voice of Yakko in Animaniacs. Anyway, and the day he said Spielberg came to one of our big parties on the Warner Brothers lot, and he said he couldn't have been nicer to his son. So he said, as far as I'm concerned, Steven Spielberg's a god. Not only does he give me my my paycheck, but he also acknowledges my son in a way that I was very touched by. So
yeah,
Steven Spielberg, great man.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, when you get into show business or business of any type, there's stuff that people do that are petty. You know, people could probably say things about me.
The Glover thing was very petty. And
yeah.
It was meant to get back at a small character actor, and they really didn't need to do it.
Yeah. No, they didn't.
They could have written around that much better than they did, and they paid for it. He got a lot of money out of them, and he also helped the Screen Actors Guild in using images. So it was an unprecedented case.
Yeah, but I know Bill and Ted was sort of like that. Kind of came little after Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I really believe that the production team got together and said, we're not going to do time travel again because Back to the Future have taken it. So.
And I respect them for that. I respect them for that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Bogus Journey again has problems, but there are some sequences in it that are simply great. So I'm glad I saw it. Thank you for introducing it to me. And now we're all caught up for 3. So let's
Yeah. And
move to that point, and we'll get there together. So
exactly, because like when you see the
for having me on.
trailer to 3, you see so many things from 2.
Yeah.
That kind of transition over. I'm wondering what in the story is going to transition over, because at the end of 2, you see Bill and Ted with their own
Missy's
kids
in
on
the
a
script,
backpack.
so we know she's coming.
Yeah, I wonder if the princesses are still there. I wonder if they still have kids. There's
a
lot
lot
of
to
things.
wonder about, and we shall see come
Yes,
second week of August.
absolutely.
In this wonderful year of 2020.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and it should be. Hopefully it'll be in theaters again, and hopefully we'll be in theaters and it'll be safe. That's a whole other episode that I did.
That's a whole nother. I've been having those conversations with some of my fellow, with some of the colleagues, and there's an interesting little dichotomy. I'm a fatalist, so I'll be there if they offer it. But some people are not like that, and I understand. So
I'm type O blood, so I can survive it. All right. So
on that note,
yes, but no. On that note, thank you for coming on.
No problem, and
please.
Always a pleasure to be on the show.
Absolutely. No, thank you for helping me throughout the years. I am so honored to finally be an official critic and not just some guy who says, "Oh, I just want to be a critic,"
No. I mean, it was inevitable, Mike. You've contributed mightily to the cause, and I congratulate the Independence Society for recognizing that. So,
they've been
party
amazing.
on.
Yeah.
Party
on,
dude.
Yeah, if there's anything that you'd like to take us out on, what would it be?
Be excellent to each other.
Yeah. And party on, dudes. All right. Thanks so much, Pat.
Cheers, brother.
We'll review. I guess we can review Bill and Ted when it comes out. And
I'll definitely come on to do that.
Hell yeah. All right,
brother. Cheers.
Thanks a lot, man. All right, guys, you'll probably agree. You can catch Pat McDonald at HollywoodChicago.com, and you can catch me at YPAReviews.com. The YPA stands for You'll Probably Agree. See you later, dudes.
If you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of? 69, dudes!
Bill and Ted's
Excellent!
Excellent Adventure.
Party on, dude.